Hi, AJ Cataldo, December 29th. I'm going to do something a little different today. I want you to keep an eye on Netlist stock price for Monday, December 29th at 10:49 a.m. here in Cambodia. There's 12 hours difference, so I think it's December 28th at about 10:49, 10:50 p.m. Uh, in America, Eastern Standard Time. And of course, you're interested in the 9:30 stock market open and the trading day on Monday. So here's what's going on with Netlist. And there's an article on LinkedIn that kind of summarizes it very nicely. As a full disclosure, I'm holding 12,000 shares in my IRA account, 1,000 shares in my taxable account. I did not bet the farm. I don't recommend you bet the farm. This is not investment advice. And you don't have to buy right now. You can just set a news alert and watch and see what happens. That's all you have to do. There are lawsuits that Netlist has had against, Samsung, Google, and Supermicro. And they've won judgments. And the judgments they've won are being appealed. And of course, these companies are going to appeal forever, as long as they possibly can, any way they possibly can. In patent litigation lawsuits, it's delay. And what they're hoping is usually these companies, these smaller companies, they're hoping they go bankrupt. Well, Netlist is not going to go bankrupt. What they have been doing is diluting their shares. Every time good news hits on one of these lawsuit judgments, stock price pops up and they immediately sell shares to have more cash to pay the law firms that are fighting the lawsuit for them. So the law firms representing them, the lawyers, are not on a contingency. Everything's being paid out of operating expenses. The lawyers are not going to get 40% of the proceeds. Right now, the judgments currently against these companies total enough to make the stock price quadruple right now. But that doesn't mean they'll collect that money. Winning in court just leads to appeal. They're going to do everything they can to slow things down. But there is some news that's going to hit on Monday. The title of the article on LinkedIn, A Monday That Could Matter. Why the ITC's imminent decision may be a defining moment for Netlist. The ticker symbol is NLST. On December 27th, the article is dated. The ITC is the U.S. International Trade Commission. Netlist has requested an investigation, a Section 337 investigation against Samsung, Google, and Supermicro. This is an unprecedented event because the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and the United States Department of Justice filed a joint public interest comment in support of Netlist's position. Unprecedented. According to Netlist, this marks the first time in history that these two agencies have weighed in together on a public interest issue in a Section 337 investigation, and they did so in favor of enforcing patent rights through injunctive relief. Now here's an important part of the article: timing and market sensitivity. Because ITC decisions are binary and time-bound, you either win or you lose, binary. One of two possible extreme outcomes. The announcement itself can be market moving. Now, the stock price has drifted up a tiny little bit. But keep in mind, every time the price of the stock goes up on good news, the CEO is selling more shares to finance or fund the litigation. The article also says it's a defining moment, but it's not a final verdict. This does not mean Netlist will win. So, what I recommend you do is put Netlist on your watch list. And there should be news on Monday, which is probably 12 to 18, maybe 20 hours from now, over the next 20 hours. Just watch what happens. Now, there's a significant short position in this stock. That means people have sold shares that they do not own. They borrow these shares and they're hoping, so instead of buy low, sell high, they sell high shares they do not own that they borrowed and hope to close or cover their short position at a lower price. They are gambling. This is real gambling. This is scary stuff. They're gambling that the price of the stock goes down. If there's good news and the price of the stock skyrockets, and it might not if it's good news. It's tough to say. They get what's called a squeeze. There's a short squeeze. And if they're trading on margin or they're borrowing these shares using credit, they could be forced to cover, which means they have to buy shares. Now, if I short a stock and I have to buy shares, all this buying pressure causes the price to go up even further. So people love to participate in short squeezes. Over the years, I did my first stock trade in 1980. I've been the fortunate recipient on a couple of occasions. You know, you win, lose, you win some, you lose some. And a squeeze can be dramatic. What you're doing is hoping to catch people off guard. Anyway, the only thing, I am not recommending you buy the stock. I'm not providing investment advice. But watch it. If the news is favorable, there are other news events that are, and this will give you time to research the stock. Look into the stock, research it. Talk to your financial planner about this. Excuse me. These patent lawsuit stocks are almost always losers. 99% of the time, these are very high risk. 99% of the time, the law firms for the big companies who, the David and Goliath thing, right? The law firms, all they do is appeal, and just grind them down over many years. In this particular case, everything's going to be probably wrapped up and settled up in less than 12 months, everything. Because all of the appeals, well, there's still some in progress, but everything's pretty much behind them. They've already gone through. This has been going on for years. So you have time to do research. Don't spend an enormous amount of time. Just watch the stock price and watch the volume. Look at the volume. Look at the stock price. If the stock price goes up and the volume is high, it could be a spike that lasts a day or two or three, or it could stick. It might stick. I'm not trading these shares. I'm just holding them. I'll hold them for another year. We'll see what happens. Keep in mind, if they win these lawsuits, it's not just the economic damages that have occurred in the past. It's also interest since the jury trial and the judgment, and it's royalties going forward. That's really important. And we do have a new administration that's they're doing a lot of tariffs. And here's how the landscape has changed. They don't like these companies stealing intellectual property from America. This is an American firm. So it looks like the government, U.S. government, might be behind and assisting Netlist. In fact, they are. So take your time, look it over, sit on the sidelines. It's not a big deal. If it spikes and you have time to do research, consider nibbling some shares for a long-term hold. There's something called the 3-day rule in Wall Street. Research the short position. Research how many shares trade on Monday if it's a high volume day. You can easily Google and find out how many days it will take shorts to cover their short position. So let's say someone short 1 million shares and 100,000 shares trades on Monday and the stock price goes up and it closes at the day's high. There's a reasonably good chance that there's going to be follow through and it's going to go up again for another day. So be patient, do a little research. At a minimum, just watch and see what happens. Please like, and I'll do more of these. I'll do some of these every once in a while. Very rare. I don't like to be wrong. Uh, please like, please subscribe, please make comments, please give me a thumbs up, and you have a wonderful New Year's.